Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to Seville. Welcome to Andalusia, European region of sport. Welcome to Spain. We're delighted to host this World Football Summit in our territory, particularly in my case, as someone who has a football background. It's just something really exciting, uh, particularly in this panel, in this conversation, as we are going to call it. Um, we feel we have the opportunity to tackle some, some very interesting topics that are headlines every day as we had our responsibilities on each field. It is an honor and a privilege to be surrounded by these panelists, the participants on this conversation, people with a great reputation and a amazing background in terms of sustainability. I believe they have been already introduced. We have been suggested not to repeat presentation over introduction. So we'll get straight to point. Just for your reference, this conversation will last 45 minutes. The format will be quite open, no formal order. You guys are all welcome to participate in and out on the topic of the day, the topic of the session. The need of the game, I would say the name of the game, as sustainability has become one of the most critical issues in our days, in the football industry and abroad, in trading, in the economy in general. Best steps to make football sustainable, not only as, I would say, philanthropy, but also as an opportunity, which perhaps is the right approach in order to seize the opportunity, in order to maximize our measures, our plans. It is well known in terms of social responsibility, sustainability as a must, but again, in terms of opportunity, in terms of empathy with our environment, in terms of value proposition to our fans/friends. So, if I may, I will leave the floor to our participants, and I feel like, we're supposed to start to kick off, as the home ground is Real Betis Balompié from Seville. I will leave the floor to my good friend Ramon Alarcón. Ramon, you guys have a strong background in terms of sustainability. Forever Green has been one of the key strategies within your club, and you have some success stories to share with us. So please, if you could start by sharing with us, how do you guys started? When do you guys understood sustainability was key in your value proposition? How did you manage to initiate Forever Green, and what challenges did you find in the process? That was a great start. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting Real Betis to this panel. It's a pleasure to me to talk about green issues here in Seville, in my city, as a member of Real Betis, that we are supposed to be, we call our name the green team. The Forever Green initiative arrived into Real Betis in an unexpected way. We had a sponsor 5 years ago. It was called Green Earth. It was a blockchain company that using the blockchain technology, they try to sell a square meter of forest in Costa Rica. No? So they oblige themselves to maintain the forest. And these people introduced us to United Nations, to the Climate Neutral Now program. So when we met these guys from the United Nations, we enrolled Real Betis in this initiative. No? And they invited us to the COP25 that took place in Madrid. And the feedback was that it was incredible the awareness that a football team has created in this program. They told us that many companies have been enrolled in this program before us, but when Real Betis started to talk about environmental issues, the awareness increased a lot. No? So thanks to that and thanks to the people from United Nations, we understood how important is the sustainability issue, because we are talking about the future of the planet. We are talking about that there is no planet B, and as we normally we like to say, if there is no planet B, there is no football, and if there is no football, there is no Betty. So for us, life has no sense. So this is the question that we started to take in mind, how important are sustainability issues. And after that, we also heard that, for example, in a research from the ECA, the 40% of the guys between 16 and 24, they or either hate football or don't like at all football. It means we have a challenge to arrive to this new target, that they are looking for new values, and environmental issues are in the top of mind of this target. So with all these things, we started to work, and we created the Forever Green project, that is a platform where we don't want to be the best, we don't want just to be one more in this battle that we have to play all together against the climate change. And in this platform, we invite other companies to do projects together, or also we try to do events, call to action events, just to promote and to use the potential that we have as a speaker to change the way that we behave in terms of sustainability. This is in a first introduction about what is Forever Green, the origins, and our challenges.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ramon. Actually, you gave a great pass here because you mentioned blockchain within the process, and Magda from Climate Trade, Anna Karen from Climate Trade was explaining to us briefly how you guys manage to structure the interaction between companies in order to lessen the carbon footprint using blockchain.
Sure.
Could you please share with us?
Yeah, blockchain is a tool that we think that it's a game changer in this case. What we are doing actually is about carbon offsetting. We have developed a marketplace, and we put in contact directly project developers worldwide that, let's say, offset or sell these credits in the platform with companies that want to offset their emissions or need, okay? So we introduced the blockchain because we wanted to provide transparency in this. I mean, in the traditional carbon markets, there were like a lack of transparency because there was the problem of double accounting, there was the problem of the fair price of the ton of CO2, and different things, that was a problem in the past. But with blockchain, we can, let's say, solve these problems. So that's why we apply blockchain in every single transaction. I mean, when a company wants to buy a carbon credit, we can prove that the money went to the source.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing the experience. Talking about pioneering in sustainability, Udinese Calcio, a club that, if I may say, has always shined on the sporting perspective for taking smart decisions. Also on the business side of things, it is impressive. Dear Magda, querida Magda, how you guys pioneered so many years ago. Please, could you tell us a little bit about your experience with Sport for Climate with the United Nations and, Dacia Arena, how you guys implement all these sustainability measures, on a day by day?
Primero, ¿funciona? ¿Sí?
Sí.
Buenos días, Sevilla, y gracias para invitarme. Nosotros, pues, me considero, tenemos muchos puntos en común también de lo que decía Ramón. Hemos empezado este proyecto sobre la ecosostenibilidad pensando sobre todo en el fútbol. El fútbol tiene un gran poder. Entonces nosotros mismos al principio, casi cuando lanzamos este proyecto, era más que nada de marketing o de desarrollo de marca y luego nos dimos cuenta de la importancia que el fútbol tiene para crear esta awareness. Y me acuerdo que fue hace 3 años con nuestro sponsor técnico, Macron, le dijimos, queremos una camiseta con todo material reciclado. Y claro, la primera impresión fue, ay, qué pesado, so it's gonna be very hard to do this recycling shirt because we want to, it's more expensive and it's gonna be a very long process, but at the end they say, okay, we are going to make it. And now what they are doing is they are doing a recycled jersey for all the teams they are sponsoring. So it's over 200 teams that are wearing recycled jerseys in the world. And I think this is the first message. If football can, and a small team like Udinese can push as a partner, a sponsor, to then give this message worldwide and be effective worldwide, I think this is one of the main strengths we had in our policy. And I think if I have to make, I think there are a couple of issues. One is to, as Ramon was saying, to follow and try to up movements on eco-sustainabilities. One is, of course, United Nations. The other one now, UEFA, with the 4R issue, so the reuse, recycle, and I think it's very important that you are pushed by these movements. And I think Udinese was very beneficial for us. And on the second place, I would say that to get your partners, your supporters, and give message to them and to push them to be sustainable is the only way you can really be successful in this issue. And I think this is where we did it very well. As I said, with this technical sponsors, with you have to be lucky as well, because we have a very good partner in energy. So we were ready, we were able in the stadium to do a free CO to emission since the beginning. So, there are all issues that you are very, very successful if your partners are there and they help you in this project.
Great, thank you. Speaking of brands, 17 Sport, Francois Singer. Please tell us a little bit. I mean, a company is so interesting that anchors its activity on sports, but with a value proposition, which is environmental outcomes. Again, as a value proposition differentiating from your competitors. Something special when you guys deal with brands, athletes, again, focusing on environmental outcomes, you're definitely making a difference. Please, could you share your experience with us, Francois?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Jose, and hello, nice to meet you all. I have a first question then to everyone. Who in this room have read the last IPCC report, the GIEC report in this room? Because it's quite interesting because, Today we have to be aware of this climate change crisis we are facing on. The sport industry has an impact. The football industry has an impact. I would like to share a few figures with you. You know that the football industry emits 30 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions this year. This is the equivalent of the Denmark country. Also, the top 20 most famous players emit around 500 tons of carbon footprint also each year. So we have a massive impact. We have a huge impact, and the football industry has an impact on the global climate crisis. So at 17 Sport, you know, we know that. We are now considering as the world's first impact company within the sport ecosystem, and we try to integrate sustainable strategy at the heart of the sports organization. Why? It's great to have a CSR department. It's great to have some communication around sustainability, but if it's not integrated like in the Real Betis Civic Club at the heart of the organization, it will be complicated to change. So the marketing department, the communication department, the players, the fan, every stakeholders, even the sponsors have to be involved on these subjects. So we try to do that. We try to implement sustainable strategy with our partner Suez, which is a French worldwide utility company, to integrate sustainability at the heart of the business model of the clubs. This is really, really important, and for us, it's what defines us. It's also a level of business, because if you do that, your clubs will face new opportunities, you will retain talents, you will attract new sponsors, and you can see that today the sponsors are challenging the clubs. Can you show me as a club what you are doing in terms of sustainability? Can you show me what is your sustainable strategy? This is now a matter of business and of growth. So yeah, this is what we are doing, and this is our mission. We are a purpose-driven company. It's in our status, and we are here to, you know, to face these issues and to bring some solutions.
Great, thank you so much for that.
You know, I have heard here some different words that, in my opinion, are very important in the topic of the panel, is the value of the sustainability for the brand and also for the sponsors. Okay, this is true. This is a great value, and now I have mentioned before, you know, that young people, that they are really focusing on new values. So it's very important for the targets, so it's very important also for the sponsors. But it's true that there is another, you have to be careful about the greenwashing. The new generation, they really know what you are doing. So you have not just to say that you are green, you have to be green. But if you look to that, maybe you are not going to be 100% green. You have mentioned that football clubs, we are putting too many footprint on the air. No? But in my opinion, what you have to do is transparency. And this is where, for example, blockchain is really important. Because, for example, it's true in a football club, our biggest issue with the footprint is the flight charters. There has been a polemic with PSG recently, no? But it's true that it's not going to be possible for the football clubs to fly all around Europe by train or by bus or using an electric vehicle, because there is no way, there is no time. They have to play on Tuesday, and then they have to play next Saturday. So it's still, but my idea is you have to do as much possible, it's better, as much as it's better, but always with transparency. You are never going to be 100% sustainable right now. It's very difficult to achieve that. But if you move from 0 to 20, it's better rather than if you do nothing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amo, for breaking the ice. Please, Magda.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. And also, in our case, talking about that's easier to be successful and just not do the greenwashing, but to be active in what you do. For instance, we had, that was very helpful, we have an internal guideline for our suppliers and for our sponsors or partners. So they know that when approach the Udinese world, they should try to be green or to be sustainable as well. as far and as long as they can, of course. You can, as you said, it's impossible to do. But I think it's a way that, and then when you start talking, you start having the conversation, they said, oh, but what should we do? Well, there are different things you can do. And so it's a way to, I think, to give the message and to keep up with this, because when they enter the conversation and when they see the first slide, we are green, and this is what we want from our suppliers, and this is what we want from you, it makes them feel that they have to do something. Okay, so this is another way to get more people and more involved with that. Again, I agree, and it happened to me. You have to be careful and keep well separated the greenwashing issue from being actively green. And to tell you the truth, when I thought about, let's ask our technical partner to be green and to have this recycled jersey with 13, they use 13 PET bottles, it was really a marketing action. I didn't think really green at that moment. But now I'm so happy to see that it was a worldwide success and an example. So I think we are now in this as well. We change, and now we are more really and actively green oriented.
Actually, I'm agree with you, of course, but I think that it's not only about to do things with sense, it's also with criteria, because football is a power tool for everyone. Football is the sport more popular in the world. I mean, it's a way to communicate, it's a way to teach. I mean, it's a tool. We need to, the football in this case, need to take care how do the things, no, in order to not only avoid greenwashing, do the things with criteria. Even in social, even I'm not talking about environmental, I'm talking about even social impact. That is really important also.
And I just want to share. Yeah, I just want to share one last thing on this matter. We are challenging.
We need to introduce our other guest.
Okay, then
up in the cloud. Sorry about that. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I owe you one.
No problem.
We have another very interesting point of view here. We are delighted to have with us virtually or up in the cloud, as we could say, via Zoom. We have with us Dale Vince from Ecotricity, who is joining us. Thank you, Dale, for joining us. I hope you're hearing us clearly.
Yes, I can hear you well. I hope you can hear me too.
Thank you. Dale is founder of the global green energy movement that aims to end fossil fuels. Very large organization with a very important presence and a very important say on this one. So Dale, thank you for joining. What will you take on this one? We understand the work you guys do from a general perspective, but in relation to the football industry, how do you see the challenges? How do you see the opportunities? Please go
cool.
ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Look, it's a pleasure to be here, and I've really enjoyed listening to the conversation from the panel so far. I didn't realize there were so many other football clubs pursuing this green agenda quite so seriously, actually. I'm chairman of Forest Green Rovers, as well as founder of Ecotricity, and we're, according to FIFA and the UN, the greenest football club in the world. We got started in 2010, so 12 years ago. We're founding signatories of the UN Sport for Climate Action Programme. I'm an ambassador for that programme. And really, my journey in football began as an accident, a happy accident, rescuing my local football club from bankruptcy, and then suddenly finding myself confronted with a series of things done at the football club which were contrary to my values and the values of Ecotricity. And so we swiftly made a group of changes, realized that we would be building a green football club in the process, and that we would be taking our sustainability message to an entirely new audience, and one that stereotypically wouldn't be very receptive, right? We wouldn't be preaching to the choir. and that made it more appealing to us to do in any event. So we just set about making all of the changes. And our main focus is on energy, transport, and food. That's our work at Ecotricity. 80% of everybody's personal carbon footprint is in those three things: how you power yourself, how you travel, and what you eat. And it's the same for an organization of any size and for a football club. So we focused on those areas of change. We put in charging points for electric cars, solar panels on the roof to make our own energy. We turned the club vegan, and that was the thing that gained us the global infamy that we have as a football club, as a vegan football club. We've got other things too, like an organic football pitch. We capture the rain from under the pitch and use it again in a cycle of water. We've banned single-use plastics. We've pioneered some new materials for shirts. We began with bamboo a few years ago, and then we introduced coffee grounds, shirts made out of coffee grounds a couple of years ago. And we have fun while we do this. And what we're trying to do is to show our fans that there is a different way to live, that actually there are all these things that we do that they could also do in part or in full. And we do this through the medium of football. And we obviously come together we have this common goal of supporting the club, this common mission of football, but we've made it a parallel mission of sustainability and football. We put them on an equal footing. So we never do anything on the football side that's contrary to the sustainability side. And a nice example for you. Most recently, our academy players won a trip to Spain to come and do some training and stuff. And they visited Real Betis. They brought me back a shirt. I don't have it with me, but that was quite sweet. And they came to me and they said, "Look, we've got this trip to Spain, and it means we need to fly, but we know this is a problem for the club, right? We have a no-fly policy." And I said, "Look, take a train, organize a trip. It'll cost a little bit more money. It will take more time, but you will get more from it." And that's exactly what they did. They stopped in Paris. They watched the game in Barcelona, and our lads had a great trip to Spain and didn't fly. We were able to do it in a different way. So for us, the environment is a core mission. Is what I live for. Ecotricity is 25 years old now. We've been pioneering renewable energy since then. What we found, and this is perhaps goes to your opening question, what we found is that football is an amazing opportunity and a platform to speak to people, because fans look up to clubs and they look up to players and they take steers in terms of how they live their lives from both. And football doesn't have a bigger responsibility than any other business to sort out its own impact on the environment, but it has an opportunity that almost no other business on the planet has. That opportunity is to engage with fans.
Well, thank you so much, Dale. Interesting, food for thought, right? Francois, I owed you.
Yeah. No, I just want to share something with you. For the last few months, I've been approaching by some huge organizations, newcomers working on the carpooling industry, refurbish industry, that wants to invest millions of euros within the football industry. They told me, "Can you advise me which football clubs I can put my money on?" And he told me just after that, it's strange, but in my mind, the football industry is doing mostly greenwashing. In his mind, football is associated to greenwashing, which is for me, it's not the correct answer, but so it's millions of euros that could be injected in some football clubs, but as the brand image of some football clubs are associated to greenwashing or not sincere transformation, the money is not going to these football clubs. So what we are trying to do right now by implementing sustainable strategy within sports organizations and football clubs is to enhance this brand reputation, to show that football clubs is also working towards positive stuff, answering sustainable issues, and trying to help the society to be better. So and we face that month after month after month. So we have to change the football industry. We have to show, and the Real Betis Service is a good example, that there is sincere transformation held by the governance, or by the CEO, by the president of the clubs. And it's not only sometimes a communication approach, an opportunistic communication approach, or just a CSR strategy, but something that is really, really, really integrating within the organization. So more and more we will face this kind of discussion. More and more we will have this role and this mission in this world at 70 Sports to change the football industry and to integrate this sustainable strategy because it's a level of business, of growth, and of brand reputation.
Yes, but you know, there is, in my opinion, the discussion because my colleague has said the core mission has to be the green issues. And this is not true. The core mission as a football club, in my opinion, is we have to play football, we have to do our performance on the pitch is really important. We have financial issues, we have many things to do. But what is very similar to the core mission, but it's not the same. In my opinion, the green issues should be in the top of mind of the company. So it means that everything that you do from now to the future has to be 100% green. For example, Real Betis, we are building a new academic center. It's going to be 100% sustainable. But our stadium is not. In our stadium, we are doing some works. But when you do something new, you have to do it in a green way. But to replace all the things that you have for the past is quite difficult and quite expensive. So the question is not to be all the things that you do, always think on green. But it's true that your core of the business football club is to play football in the best way possible because you need a good performance to be qualified for the EuroLeague. With that, you get money. So you have to have the green issues in the top of mind, but it's not going to be your core mission because you are a football club.
Yeah, I completely agree because then when you live the real life, then you have to face this. And also, but I think it was an interesting issue is about the fans and to try to also expand this issue with the community. Like in our case now, we are launching this project for mobility cars, so sharing cars even to visit touristic places in our region and in our city. So and we do all together with the region, with the supporters. And so it's an ongoing process to give and communicate all the time. And also, I think very helpful for small clubs like us, we cannot be, of course, we have to do it little by little. So to have, for instance, UEFA launching this 4 hours project, reuse, recycle, recover, it all helps to follow these steps accordingly, and it's much easier to have a plan.
Sure.
It's 10 minutes to go for your reference. Let me ask you this. Let me take it one step beyond. Because we're talking about measures, we're talking about specific tactic actions, but if we go deeper into the bottom line of this, yes, sustainability from a reputational perspective, from a branding perspective, but here's my question. Isn't it about the legacy, bottom line? And I will address Dale on this one. Not only from the environmental outcomes perspective, but also from the financial perspective, being responsible at the time of leaving the legacy of a property, of a club, of a company to the next generation, compliance measures. Isn't it, about the legacy? Is there probably room to improve in terms of understanding that this is not only a branding thing, this is not only a reputational thing, but it's a philosophy thing? Dale, what would be your take on this one?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. It is that way for us, but I think it should be that way. I think the climate crisis is the biggest threat that we all face. I think most of us probably on the panel here today acknowledge that. And I think that in that case, we have to change the rules of normal business. Now, I find that environment measures quite frequently pay for themselves. You have a capital cost on the one hand, but you have a lower operating cost on the other hand. And so we're in a good place where environment measures are no longer just an expense, they're a benefit financially to a club or to an organization. But even where they are not, I believe that we should take these measures in order to show fans what it is that needs to be done, because the climate crisis is such an existential threat to all of us. And I don't think we should ever allow green to be a branding issue. It is a reputational issue, and that will knock on to brands and that kind of stuff. But if we come at it from a branding point of view, then I think we're in danger of not doing it properly. We need to make it a fundamental part of our mission, to accept the reality that the climate crisis is real and it's the biggest problem we all face. And we should all do whatever we can do to tackle that. And we have the means to do that as football clubs. We have the platform, we have access to an amount of money. We should spend our time and our resources and our energy in making a great example to our fans.
Thank you, Dale. Anna Karen, please.
Yeah, sure. I just want to add that it's a reflection. No, I mean, in order to, let's say, leave a legacy, first of all, we need to understand that legacy. And it's something like linked to what they say. The thing is that we need to understand first the activities of the club, the impact of the club, not in order to change it everything from one day to other. It's something that must be progressive, because the thing right now, the situation right now is awful. It's a catastrophic. So the thing is that we need to do it, start now, because we are late, do it progressively, but with knowledge. It's not about only reputation, branding. It's not about that. It's a mindset. It's something that the clubs have to take, and every single corporate person, the world, need to have as a mindset, not like a policy, a mindset.
Thank you. François, please.
Yes, you are speaking about legacy. I want to share also one interesting figures. Last year, more than 200 sponsoring deal has been done with some organizations that has a high level of carbon emission. So you speak about legacy, but the football industry and the sport industry is still making some deals with high polluting organizations. So in terms of legacy, first we have to stop that and try to replace this organization by a more purposeful one. This could be a first interesting step. What we are also doing with our partner Suez, we are working on six streams. Implement a sustainable strategy, working on the biodiversity preservation. It's also the role of the football industry to work on this biodiversity preservation. And it's not to put a garden in the top of a roof. It's not to work on the specific and dedicated long-term strategy. It's working on smooth mobility, etc., etc. So we organize a workshop in 30 minutes in the Praga room, if you want to join us, to speak around these topics and have more purpose, insight about it. Don't hesitate, and thank you, everyone.
Merci beaucoup. François? I believe we're 2 minutes to time up. Okay. So, okay, last word, very quickly, please, on this one. Are we facing a threat, only a threat, or also an opportunity? Quick one, please. I will start with Dale, as he's away. Dale, last one on this topic, please.
I think it's mute.
We don't hear you.
My bad.
Right.
I said I'll keep it short, thank you. I think threats are always opportunities, and they're very much the case that the climate crisis is an opportunity to change completely how we live, because in the process of tackling that, we can clean up the air that we breathe and the water that we drink and the land that we live on, and bring back biodiversity and all those great things. We can just change the way we live, and we have to fight the climate crisis, and that's a massive benefit. Threats are always opportunities, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much, Dale. And that, please, very quickly.
I think the way today, all we are doing, this is the real opportunity. I mean, to try to give the message and to have a fixed plan and to develop it, even if we can't do everything immediately, but this is the most important thing, to keep up with this awareness and to implement all our strategy, and it's the way to do that.
Fantastic, grazie mille.
My
Ramon.
opinion, of course, it's a threat because now the measures in climate issues are really, really bad. But also this threat should become an opportunity because if you do the things in the right way and you put in the mindset of your company, the top of mind of your company, the green issues, you can become a biggest, one of a great company, a great corporate institution, and you will get a lot of revenues and a lot of engagement with your fans. So it's a threat that if you work in the right way, it could become an opportunity.
Muchas gracias, Ramón. François?
Yeah, it's both. I think I share Ramon's point of view. It's a threat because, for instance, in the UK, half of the stadium within the next decade will face massive floodings. So you have to be prepared for that, and football industry has to change. And for sure, it's an opportunity on what we said during this panel. It's a new source of revenue. If you integrate a sustainability strategy, it's a long-term financial performance, brand differentiation, talent attraction and retention, enhance brand reputation, etc., etc. So integrate that. It's a massive opportunity for all the football clubs.
Thank you so much.
And I agree with
Ana Karen.
Ramon and with Francois. It's a threat, but if we manage properly, it's going to be a big opportunity.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for this conversation. Great honor to be part of it. Thank you so much for attending and looking forward to have a great time with you guys here in Seville. Thank you.
Thank you.